Community sources and leaks have confirmed that Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 will be arriving on JP Dokkan. The question, however, is what about global? If we can determine in this video when the Gammas will be dropping on JP, which I feel like the answer to that is low-key obvious, and I think you will agree with me as I explain it, but if we can determine that, then we can use that same date and time to determine when they should also drop on Global Dokkan. But unfortunately, there's a few people watching this right now that are about to get caught lacking with a really quick subscriber challenge. Just be honest with me, and most importantly, be honest with yourself before we hop into this, okay? If in the last month, you've been late night snacking and you woke someone up because you tripped while link leveling, or you slammed the door of the fridge or the pantry or the oven or microwave too hard, or you dropped something that made a really loud sound, if that was you in the last month, you got caught lacking today, you gotta subscribe to the channel. It is what it is. I mean, you have to be more stealthy than that. Come on, man. All right. But if this wasn't you, then you can skip today's subscriber challenge. Just know that I will catch you lacking in the next one. And I will also mention that, guys, we are so freaking close. If you want to be under the, the under 50K club, you know what you got to do. Let's hop into this video. So when it comes to leaks on Twitter, especially Twitter, I think we can all agree that when things begin to get leaked, it's because they're dropping relatively soon. I don't think that Gammas have been leaked because they're dropping 3, 4, 5 months in advance. I think they're being leaked because they're dropping relatively soon. So we had to look at the JP timeline for the month of October to really get a sense of when's the best time for the Gammas to drop. Right now, Goku is the newest Dokkan Fest on JP, and after the beginning, let me go back to October here. After the beginning Dokkan Fest for the month of October, we get some content, and then we get a part 2 LR. Now, I guess you can kind of maybe speculate that the Gammas will be the part 2 LR to this celebration, because, I mean, who's really going to drop as the part 2 LR to Path of Power Goku? I genuinely don't know. But honestly, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to get a, the Dokkan Fest that is currently Kid Goku, and then we get the part 2 LR, whatever that ends up being, and then Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, in my opinion, will be dropping as the late October Dokkan Fest, just like AGL Trunks last year. And the reason why I'm saying this, I mean, there's actually a few reasons why, but the main one is that I think we can all also agree that Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 aren't part 1 material of a Dokkan, like a part 1 Dokkan Fest material, when you consider everything else that happened in this movie. If you're dropping a 2-part celebration for Dragon Ball Super Superhero, you don't drop Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 in part 1 and then Beast Gohan or Ultimate Gohan in part 2. Because of that, I don't think there's going to be a part 2 to Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. I think we can all agree on that, right? And since there's no part 2 to this unit, or since there's no part 2 that I can think of, right, to this unit, then it makes sense that they would drop during a time on JP where previous units have dropped that we haven't gotten a part 2 for, and that was AGL Trunks last year. AGL Trunks is not tied to a single part 2 LR. As soon as he dropped on JP, the next month that followed was just a little bit of content surrounding his theme, and then we hopped into Dragon Ball Hero. So again, there was no part 2 LR, and it even works great for Global Dokkan as well, because let's just assume right now that it will be at the end of October. Right, there's no Dokkan Fest. What Global Dokkan likes to do specifically is drop that same Dokkan Fest that doesn't have a part 2 LR on JP in the beginning of March. And the reason why is because there is no part 2 LR for either Dokkan Fest in March for Global or JP, because the part 2 is basically the Saiyan Day celebration that both Global and JP share. There's not enough time in the beginning of March, or even in the month of March, for them to drop a part 2 LR. That's why Ginyu does not have a part 2 LR, because he dropped in March, and there's just not enough time for them to do that, and LR, and then again, Saiyan Day, right? So, in my opinion, I think since Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, I don't think they're going to be a part of a 2-part celebration, it makes sense for them to be, or for them to appear as the March Dokkan Fest for Global Dokkan in the year 2023, and right now 2022 for JP Dokkan in, the late October, basically what, 3-ish weeks from now. And again, we'll definitely have to wait a long time for that. It just doesn't really make much sense because, hear me out, right? After this, we move into the month of November, extra content, Dragon Ball Heroes, and then there's actually a Dokkan Fest at the end of November as well. The issue with this is that there's a part 2 LR to this, right? In the month of December, JP Dokkan gets this right here, the part 2 LR to whatever drops at the end of November. There is no other slot in this timeline that allows a part 1 only unit here, unless it is the end of Dokkan Fest October unit, which again, in this case was AGL Trunks, and again, is basically off of the fact that I personally don't see Gammas being part 1 and part 2 material. Maybe you do, maybe you can let me know what you personally think. If maybe it was like an Ultimate Gohan and Ultimate Piccolo join forces, then I would say, you know what, it makes a lot of sense for it to be a part 2, or for there to be a part 2 LR Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. But I just don't see what they can drop as a part 2 that is more hype, that isn't more hype than Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, if that makes sense. So let me know what you guys think. It seems like, to me, in my opinion, March will be the date for the Gammas to be dropping. I don't really know when else it could be, but again, maybe I'm proven wrong. I'll also pull this up as an example here too, just so you guys can understand more of the how this actually works. But 2 years ago, JP Dokkan received this STR Bojack, who actually did have a part 2 LR, which I know is like, wait, he dropped in March. What do you mean, Mr. Baby? The thing is that Global Dokkan actually shared the part 2 LR to STR Bojack, which was the Tech LR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, right? So technically, there was no part 2 LR that Global can get when Bojack dropped on Global during March, which makes sense because, again, there's no room for this. Since there's no room for that, that's probably why Global Dokkan got him a few months earlier. So they're not going to drop anything in the middle of beginning Dokkan Fest of March and Saiyan Day that is as big as like a legendary summon banner. So just go ahead and keep that in mind. Again, let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed this relatively, quickish video. It is, at the end of the day, all speculation. I just don't really see where else they can really fit this guy. I doubt, unless it's going to be like a Gamma 1 and then a part 2 Gamma 2. I just don't see that happening either. But maybe it is. Maybe, I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. I will say my current prediction is March for Global, at the end of October now for JP, and or again, maybe it could be a dual LR banner. I don't know. It is all speculation. Global can end up changing, or JP, you know what, both versions can end up doing things that we've never expected, especially since Pan is the current Dokkan Fest on Global and now the Super Saiyan Blue. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you at the next one. Take care and peace.